Welcome to Creative Connections, Episode 4. We're closing off the year with a wonderful opportunity here. And what I wanted to talk about is generally around this time, I try to find 10 interesting points or 10 reasons of what we can do to help entrepreneurs. Unfortunately, because of the beginning of the year, we had a pandemic that we had to go through. After the pandemic, now we got a European war, and it was very, very difficult to come up with 10 ideas. We only could come up with 3 this year, and it's restore, evolve, and transform. We had to restore what we lost because of 2021. As we restored, we had to evolve. Examples of hybrid were learning from home. We had to do virtual things that were new to us. And the biggest part is transform. And that's why we're here today with Ana and with Jim. When we're talking about the transformation, the power of the transformation of doing something new for 2023. Welcome, Jim. Welcome, Ana.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's wonderful to be here.
Thank you. So I'd like to ask Jim to lead and get us moving forward and reimagining our next wonderful 2023 that we're about to get into.
2023 is going to be a great year. It's going to be a lot of creative things happening, no pun intended, or pun intended as you take it. 2023 to me is going to be it'll be the first full year since the pandemic that my business will be open again. And it will have a profound impact on my business going forward. What I'll learn in 2023, how I'll grow not just business or financially, but with people, with understanding, with education. I think that there is so much to do and so much opportunity that 2023 is going to offer, even more than 2022, as we leave the 2020, 2021, pandemic and lockdowns and quarantines and whatnot. I think that entrepreneurs are going to have a really good opportunity to grow, and not just their businesses, but themselves. And so that's what 2023 means specifically to me. Ana?
I agree. 2023 for me would be opportunities for entrepreneurs such as myself, more growth. I'm looking for more participation from outside now that pandemic is done. Hopefully everything will be smoothed out. So opportunities, participation from everywhere, everyone. That would be great.
So I'd like to lean in and just say, look, you've done an entrepreneurial journey this year. You've probably gone through all kinds of changes, whether it's digital technologies or trying to figure out where you fit in next. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do and what you're hoping to do?
Okay, so Aren Academy is, it started as I'm a life coach, so I just started as a life coach, and I realized that I can do more for more people, not just around me, but people somewhere that I can't reach, personally or, individually. And so the opportunities that I got from here in Spark was to do a digital way to do it, which is what Aren Academy is doing digital courses, coaching online, and being able to do workshops online and in person, hopefully next year. And just to empower women to do what they can, like really just to be able to get them to rethink of themselves. They're not just mothers, sisters, workers, that sort of thing, but there's also, they can do more. So that's what Aren is.
From a life coaching standpoint, I take it you work with a lot of entrepreneurs.
I do, but a lot of my clients aren't really thinking of getting to business for themselves. A lot of them are just starting to be able to get out of the mindset of that they can do what they think is just they see others are doing, right? So yes, there is one that is an entrepreneur, and he's having a hard time. Basically, he's having a hard time to focus because they have a lot of problems at home, which is normal. Everybody has problems at home. But as an entrepreneur, when the blocks are the home front, it kind of really hard for them to move forward with the sales and move forward with focusing on, growing the business. So yeah, but most of my clients are just getting out of that mindset of not being good enough.
Interesting.
Not being good enough.
Yeah.
What is I know we can't get into anything personal with anybody's like specific issues and whatnot, but when it comes to the people that you're helping, the people you're coaching, and getting people to get out of their own way and feel that they're good enough, what are you finding is the most common issue that people are struggling with in today's economy and today's society?
I think it's focus. Being good enough, being not good enough, that's more of a struggle, yes, but it's the focus to not being able to, because of a lot of mental struggles and challenges that we all go through, obviously. But for them, it's the focus. What do I focus now? How do I get that A to B and then B to C, right? And that's what a lot of my clients have a problem is, they have these goals, but unfortunately, they can't focus enough that they can do B, and then they just stuck on A, unfortunately.
Is there a commonality to what is in their way, what's stopping them from focusing, or what obstacle are they dealing with?
It is. It's their mental challenge. Mentally, they don't think that we're going to go back to not being good enough, right? They always say that they're like this woman that I'm working with, she would always say that, it's been done already, right? So why would I do it, right? Like right. I said, well, if you don't want to do it, then don't do it. But if you think that you can bring something new, a different perspective, because you're a different person, you have a different challenge, you have a different experience than that person next to you who did it, then that would bring you into the picture, which is a different way of thinking. And we have to get out of that thinking. We have to she has this place is a really good media place, and what can I bring new, right?
Right.
You can bring your own experience, you can bring your skills there, you can bring, there's a lot. And that's the common thing is that they don't want to because they are afraid to bring their own experience, I guess.
It's a confidence issue.
Yes, that's a good way to put it. Yes, it's very, very much so.
So not that I want you to give away any trade secrets or anything, but is there anything that you can say in a generic way that is a common piece of advice that you can give somebody who's having trouble feeling confident or feeling like they're worth doing something?
The first thing that I really go into my coaching is that I want to know why they feel like that. So it's the why issue. Then I go down and go to the bottom. And I see this practice. A couple years ago, I went to this online workshop actually, and they did this why exercise. And it's a really, it's something that we have to think it's not just one level, there's a lot of levels. And then if you go down deep enough, then you will really go into your why. And that's what I do first with my coaching clients is that, why do you feel like you're stuck? Or why do you have that, why do you think that you can be good at let's say your barber shop, right? And then why are you doing it? So that's why that's my commonality. And then I go and find something that I can
relate to that a little bit because I always ask the 5 whys to myself. Why am I doing this? Why this? Why that? I read a book from Simon Sinek, which was the why, what, how. Mm-hmm. But the 5 whys I think is really good because you keep digging deep until you get that answer.
Mine is a 7 why.
7 whys.
Yeah. And I personally have not gone to the 7th yet because then after the 6th one, I just bawled. I bawl and I cry because then, and then I said, there has to be another level there. There has to be. And yet I can't find myself to find the 7th level because maybe I'm afraid. Maybe I don't want to face it. I don't know. But yeah.
What's making it so emotional at that 6th why? if you don't mind me asking, unless it's a personal thing.
No, for myself?
Yeah.
Probably getting into my deepest fears. For my family, for myself, not knowing, maybe. That's probably what it is.
Again, I sorry to jump in, Jim. This is really interesting because I find even at my age, with my experience, fear is always in there.
Yeah.
No matter what you try to do in your business, your personal life, or trying to help someone, there's always that fear.
Yes.
And I've always, everybody's got an acronym. Mine was false evidence appearing real.
Yes,
right?
Tony Robbins, right?
Right,
Yes.
and then I thought, but I still have it.
Yes.
And how can identifying those fears or exploring them at that sixth why, how can that help you get, like, how does that bring you out of something? Just for anybody who
Exploring
doesn't
your
know.
whys would be getting you to think of why you're doing things. I always say by my coaching area is not just transformation, but I want you to start thinking, rethinking of yourself. Basically, you know what I mean? Like, yes, you're so good at this. Yes, you're so accomplished. And yes, you did this. But why were you doing that in the first place, right? And if you have that, if you're able to figure that out, fear is nothing. It's just that block that you were scared of. It's just one whole thing. You can just pretty much say, okay, that's okay. Leave it to the side. I'm okay to move forward. I'm okay to be embarrassed. I'm okay to be vulnerable. I'm okay to people would say that, oh, why are you saying that? Like for me, my very, maybe it's how I grew up. But the first thing that I realized is that I'm scared people will judge me, right? So when I started doing the coaching, people are like, what is that? What is it even that? What do you do? Like you just, and so I didn't push it. I just started very, very slowly. And I realized people would judge me regardless of what I do. Even if I successfully have done like a good family, like $1 million family, people will still judge me based on, their family values or what their perspective is. So what's stopping me? Really, it's me, right? So now without that, then what's stopping you to pursue it?
And so the answer to why and what you're afraid of and exploring that helps with a lot of the other whys. It helps you find definition, helps you find focus, and helps you find motivation.
Right.
That's really fascinating. My journey started this year with having a job. I hit the pandemic when the quarantine hit. I had a successful business with some very wonderful bigger clients. I run a multimedia company, Vaylin. It keeps appearing on the screen every so often if you can see it. But we do videos and content creation, marketing, social media marketing, and we were finding the highest that we'd been success-wise at the beginning of 2020 when all of a sudden lockdown occurred, and now we're all at home. And I was lucky enough, like a lot of few people were, as lucky as I was to get one of my clients to catch me and kind of have a job and say, let's work together and let's work full time.
That's great.
And it was wonderful. And for 2 years I worked for that company, and now out of it, I had this runway to reopen, and fear was a crippling part. I mean, but not necessarily, I'm a comedian, so fear of, what people think of me is rarely something that I'm concerned about, but I am really concerned of fear of failure.
Oh,
I fear failure in a huge way, because it's not just me. I have people, working with me and doing all these different projects and freelancers and stuff, and wanting to make sure that I can provide what I can work-wise for them. Yeah. And it cripples you to think that this is something that I need to deal with. I need to find confidence in the most scary times where we're talking like financial ruin, right? And so
absolutely.
Not that I'm looking for free life coaching here, but what would you say to someone like me who's in a problem like that?
The thing that I have to ask you is that when you're fear of, that kind of fear of failure, what's the worst that can happen? Like, what's the worst that can happen to you and others?
Interesting.
I miss a payment on my house.
Okay, but that's a financial thing. But there's other ways to navigate that, missing a payment in the house, right? Financial stuff is yes, there's a lot of people that's still focusing on money and stuff like that, especially in pandemic. But the pandemic brought so much for us, and also like bad stuff, good stuff, and whatever. For me, it actually brought me to where I am now. Yes, it was bad for my family, different, like really varying features of bad stuff. But without it, I wouldn't be here because I had the time to figure out myself, right? And with yours, like the fear of failure is figure out why you're really scared of it. The fear of failure is just one level of it. There's other stuff, like people will stop trusting you, right? People will not do business with you anymore if you fail that company. There's a lot of stuff there. So you figure out, you keep on going down, you keep on going down. That's fear is just one of the reasons, really.
Thank you.
I think that's an interesting perspective. How do you restore a hopeful and optimistic spirit then, once you get past the fear? What do you think that could help?
Oh, good question.
And I'm not putting you on the spot. I'm just thinking, I want to be able to be hopeful of the future. So I made a mistake, and now I've gone past the fear, right? How do I rebuild? How do I restore?
For me, honestly, it's my family. It brings me back to why I'm doing it. So,
Again,
yeah.
Centers you.
Yeah, it really is. And
Right.
when I started all of this, I had, my core was my children. And that when I look at them and I say, okay, I'm doing the right thing, even though I'm having a hard time with other stuff, like, you know what I mean? Like your fear of failures, fear of judgment, those things. When my kids are okay, when I think they're having fun, they're at peace, they're loved, and I was like, okay, maybe I'm doing something right. So that's where that's my anchor really, and then I go from there.
Awesome. We talked a bit about the evolve and transformation earlier before we were recording. Do you want to talk a little bit about that in your business, how you use those to evolve and transform to help
Sure.
small businesses or...
Okay, yeah, sure. Aren Evolution really is, the whole idea of the Aren Evolution is for a woman to evolve from the best of themselves. To be able to get out of the rut and say, okay, I'm a businesswoman, I'm a career woman, but why am I still unhappy? Why do I still have this urge to do more? Maybe I want to travel. Maybe I want to do this. Maybe I'm not that happy anyways. So evolution was your own personal evolution, not just what I think you should be doing, right? That's my evolution. That's what Aren Evolution was to make sure that these women are confident enough, like what you're used, confident enough to be able to do that for themselves. Not that they wait for someone to say, you know what, go for a vacation. Or you're good for, you have this money, now go. Right?
Okay.
That's what an evolution for me is. And for transformation, it comes from that. Once you have that, once you evolve, once you've started the acceptance that, oh, okay, this is me, this is what I'm supposed to do, then you transform slowly that way.
Jim, that's powerful.
It's very powerful. Thank you. You've got an event coming up, but before we get into that, I wanted to ask you about your podcast. Yeah. Speaking about empowering women, is this is a good segue to ask you about, you have a podcast, I'm a Woman, Hear Me?
Yes.
And can you talk briefly about that and why people should tune in?
Of course. I'm very passionate about it. So this is why I did it. I want women in Niagara, well, first, because Niagara is very dear to me, I want all the women in Niagara who's contributed to all of the good things that happened to be heard, right? Because yes, men contributed so much, but women were behind it too, next to all the men who made the decisions, right? And I want them to be heard, to be seen, because then that would give them the opportunity, the women, the girls that's watching us, to say, guess what? I can be her, right? Look at that. Like she's in the administrative position, but look at what she did. It's okay for me to be in that position. It's okay for me to be an EA or something, but she's doing really great with the kids, and I want that. I want to be able to do that with the children, or like the women in Naira, and I want them to be heard. That's my thing.
And why would you recommend that men tune in as well? We were talking just before we started rolling about that, but why is it important that men understand what's happening in this podcast as well?
Oh, well, because first of all, it's equality, right? Men have to be able to know that they have partners. They know that, but sometimes they forget, right? Because we have this idea that we're doing so good, we're very successful, and yet there's someone next to you doing it with you. And if without that acknowledgement, without that knowledge, then you ignore the women that helped you. You ignore their accomplishments. You ignore their what they did for you and for the project. And at the same time, the boys are watching you. The boys that we're racing, we want them to be able to have that. In a personal note, my brother, who's 28 years old, I'm very proud of him. He's very, very successful, and then he has a partner that's going through some confidence, issues, but he's very supportive. And so I told him, I said, it's great that you're doing that, because then that woman, that your partner, will not feel like I'm not heard. That it's okay to feel vulnerable. It's okay to not figure out things for now, because without that partnership, without him knowing that she actually did so much of that, the relationship too, then the woman will not be able to, to evolve, to transform to the best of she can.
So what I'm hearing is something really great, is that we should be sharing the space together,
Yes.
not running someone else's space or trying to lead it ahead of it. Instead, the journey is together.
Well, I think you are sharing. We are all sharing it. It's just that sometimes women takes a back seat, right? I don't know if it's because of how we grew up. I don't know if it's culture. I don't know if that's, I haven't done a lot of, research, but probably how hundreds of years ago we're not supposed to be seen or not even vote. So, you know what I mean? So even if, who's the author for the Frankenstein? Mary Shelley?
Mary Shelley, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what a great book, but it was written first with a man's name. Why? Because it was
true.
Yeah, because she's not supposed to be writing. So women still have that kind of mentality, unfortunately.
I just had a brain thought here, like even Harry Potter. How did that come out of anywhere, right?
Yes, exactly.
Oh my God, that was a woman author.
Yeah.
And
what a universe that it brought us. It brought
absolutely,
us.
Absolutely. I'm restoring a lot of hope here, because I believe we're not, we're still not there with equity.
No, unfortunately.
Everybody says, oh, this is equal, that's equal. But what about equity? It's equity that we need, right? Not equality alone, right?
Very true. You have an event coming up on January 21st. And sorry to just shift gears for a second.
That's okay.
This is very important.
I'm looking forward to hearing about this.
Thank you.
Can you tell us about the event on January 21st, who should be coming by and how they can find it?
So at first I started it with just women, and then some men are asking, can I come? So I said, of course you can. And then I realized, why not just focus on it? Because you said, like we've just discussed, it's important that we all know, right? So it really is to start your year strong. Be confident that you can do what your resolutions. This is my resolution. Do you think I can do it? No, yes, no. But if you go to the workshop, I might be able to just plant a seed that you can do it. Regardless of what your fear is, regardless of your doubts of yourself and the people around you and your circumstance, I might be able to just say, maybe you can. And then if you can't, if you're having a hard time, then there's other people around you that say, maybe, you know what, you're doing great. So just keep on going. And that's the support that I want to have all women in, all men and women, because it's not just women that's having a problem with confidence.
Absolutely.
Right?
Very
So,
true.
yeah.
Very true. Very true.
So that's the event on the 21st.
And that's happening at Spark Innovation,
Yes.
and that is is there a cost to attend?
No,
Is
it's
it
free. It's a
free
free
to attend?
workshop between 12 p.m. to 4 p.m.
Brilliant. And where can people find it?
You can go to my website, actually my Facebook, and also my Instagram. I have posters there. I have my phone number there as well, so you can text me if you want, message me on Instagram, and then book it through there.
Fantastic.
I'll make
I'm
sure
going
there's
to
a
be
link.
there. I'm going to be
Oh,
there.
thank
And make sure
you.
there's a link for
Yeah,
sure.
thank
I'd love
you.
to attend. What I'm hearing here is amazing in the sense that it's always about working with and through individuals.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter what's your race, creed, color, female, male.
Yep.
It's working together to accomplish organizational objectives.
Absolutely. We all share the same goals, fears. We all share it, no matter where you are in life, really. We just don't have very expensive coaches that people have, like athletes, all of that.
Yeah, but
So-
I hate to cut you off. You've been doing some great grassroots, like at the level that we need it.
Oh,
Right? It
thank
doesn't
you.
have to be, the Ellen DeGeneres show or something
Yes.
like that. Sorry to put that in there, but it's just I'm trying to think of what about the grassroots? Everyone, the people who are actually building the neighborhoods, building
Community.
the city and the
That's
community.
right. Exactly.
Creating connections.
Creating
Creating
connections.
That's
and
right.
can't wait for episode 5.
Yes.
So, Anna, this has been enlightening, informative, and I can't wait to be at your workshop.
Oh, thank you.
But I do have to ask you something, and I have to ask Jim. New Year's resolution, we're getting there.
Okay.
What are they?
What's yours?
Oh, I have to go first.
Okay.
My company just reopened on August 1st,
Yeah.
and we have a lot of growth to do. But I think that 2023, like I said at the beginning of the interview, I think it has to be about growth. And it has to start with me, and I have to learn more. There's a lot of things that my company can do and the people working with me can do that I can't. I need a better fundamental understanding of that. And to be honest, and just to put my heart on my sleeve here, I need to work on me a lot.
Yeah.
I have to deal with a lot of things right now that are coming up, and they distract. They are obstacles. They stand in the way of succeeding. Yeah. I'm lucky that I've got a team, one of them which is behind the camera right now, who can help me get a lot of things accomplished that I require to see that success at the end of the day, to see that, or even to find my whys.
Yes.
And I think that growth in myself, especially with meeting people like yourself and finding connections, again, to bring connections into it again, is something that I need to focus on. So I think it's got to be work on myself, connecting with others and networking better than I have been, and trying to find a positive outlook, because it's been a very negative 2022, even though I've been very lucky in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And I really could see some sunshine coming up. That would be swell. Anna?
Well, 2023 would be great. Okay. Yes, sunshine is coming. But yeah. So that the thing is, you have to start looking for the sunshine. You can't just now it's very, very gray in your life and it's been bad, but there are some good things. And if you focus on that, then you start your 2023 good, right? Because growth is, like you said, actually the 21st, we're going to start the workshop with the growth mindset. And the thing is, it's not going to be easy. Growth mindset will start from in you and it will come out of you. But that growth it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard. And that's my resolution, is to be able to get everybody to start thinking that way and hopefully get my message across in a broad audience. So that's my resolution, really, is to get everybody thinking more positive, be more focused, and in a bigger audience.
Whatever you're doing, don't change it. Just in the course of the last
thank
25 minutes or so, you've watched Dino start to glow.
I
He's
am
right.
glowing,
You're inspiring. You bring hope.
thank you.
I love
Yeah.
that. And I appreciate all the advice you've given today. But Dino,
Thank
your
you so
resolution,
much.
please.
I think I like the word resilience now that I've learned from you.
Yeah, that's great.
What
That's
you've- I
great.
really want to be resilient because we're all going to find challenges next year, but there's hope, and it's great. And so when you were talking, both of you, I thought of a pencil. This is the silliest thing in the world. You look at a pencil, we use it, and it does something, but eventually it becomes dull. And you have to go through some pain to go to the next level. You have to sharpen the pencil.
That's really good.
Right?
That's a really good.
And if you have a
analogy.
mistake, there's an eraser in the pencil.
That's right. Oh my
That's
goodness,
what you're
that's
making
beautiful.
me think of the pencil,
yeah,
right?
that's
It's
beautiful.
a
good
really
analogy.
silly thing,
Yeah.
right? So think of it. Every day next year, or even now as we go into the new year and celebrating this happy holiday season, we always have to resharpen. It's going to be painful.
That's beautiful.
But the resiliency of being able, knowing that it could happen, right? And we can erase with our eraser on the back. That's my
That's
thought.
awesome. I might actually have to.
Yeah, I'd love to work with you on that
Copy
one for the
'em.
workshop. Eh?
Yes,
you can use
that'd
it
be
as
great,
the
yeah.
pencil.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone. I'm looking forward to a good holiday season to the end of the year. I wish you all the best. I really
Thank you so
appreciate you
much.
coming here. It's
It's
been
my
an
pleasure.
honor.
Oh
My
my
heart
goodness.
is just happy. Jim, with what you've been doing, none of this couldn't be possible without Vaylin Entertainment. So I thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you to Amanda and
And I
Joseph
have to-
behind the camera.
Yes, Joseph and Amanda, Mac as we call her. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This is a pleasure.
Welcome.